Retro.
Yeah.
Electro. Tech.
Oh yeah.
Hey, turn the lights back on. Wow. Retro electro tech. When real audio ruled the world.
Well, hello there once again. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Retro Ernest of Retro Electro Tech. And on the bench here we have a 5-disc CD changer made by Sony. The model is a CDP-C445. Phonetically, that would be Charlie Delta Papa. Charlie 445. So, anyways, this came to me with a complaint that it's behaving erratically, and that is the drawer and the carousel mechanism. It's kind of all over the place, opening, closing, rotating randomly. Won't properly load a CD and read it and all that. So let me see what's going on. I already performed a safe power up, and that's fine, no problem there. But anyways, let me power it up and see if it's just going to pop open on its own. And obviously, I have the have the cover off it. So yeah, see it kind of thrust forward pretty quick, and now it's pulling back and then kind of thrusting rearward and then forward. It's almost like it's having some trouble overcoming some mechanical resistance. I don't know if that's the case exactly, but yeah, let's see what's going on, or if it's something in the sense circuitry that senses the operation of the drawer and the carousel and all that. Because it appears to be pretty random. Let me see if I'm just putting in a blank CD. There's nothing on it. But as we know, even a blank CD, the CD player will try to read it. And if it detects that there's nothing on it, well then, there you go. It's not going to do anything. But I want to see if it at least does that, if it tries to read it or whatever. And if it's just going to eject it or... Yeah, let's just see. See what there is to see. See what kind of sequence it goes through. Okay, and it just thrust open again, and yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was kind of trying to load it, but then, yeah, that drawer and carousel function is really random, all out of sequence, and yeah, and it tried to rotate and then jammed up against the mechanism there. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see if it. Okay, I'm trying to open the drawer again, see if it does anything. Yeah, let me power it down and power it up again and see what it does. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think the CD changer needs a tech. I think it needs a clergyman. So, yeah, what it's doing is not good. Maybe there's something going on with the sensors or whatever. See if I can get it to stop its seizure. Okay, let me power it down again. I just want to get that CD out of there. Come on, release the CD. Okay, good. Released it. Okay. It looks to me like it's going to be fairly involved because everything is just very out of sequence. But I have a feeling though that there's a little bit more to it, and I think it has to do probably with the electronics. That something is not controlling the sequence as far as the drawer, the opening, closing, loading, unloading, the rotation of the carousel and all that. So let me go ahead and go in a little bit and see what there is to see, and then decide from there whether or not I'm going to call it based on whether or not I think it's going to be more involved, and if the customer is going to want to have me take it on. So let's move forward. Okay, so I had to go in a little bit deeper in order to evaluate some functions as far as the mechanical aspect versus the electronic or electrical aspect of things. I just have to get in order to do that. There's no getting around it. So it's not a huge process to do it. That's why I'm doing it. And first of all, I wanted to just do a physical inspection, or visual inspection, I mean, and checking the physical condition of the gears, the main cam, and so forth. That's responsible for the loading and unloading of a CD and the opening and closing of the drawer and all that stuff. So timing is essential of everything. So I want to make sure there's no broken teeth and everything looks good there. Just check the condition of the plastics, the gears and all that. Everything's looking good. The lubricants look good. There doesn't appear to be anything going on there. These are obviously dependent on things being in sync in terms of timing and the communication with the microcontroller and all that. So not unlike a VCR, there is alignment positioning that is important, and that alignment and positioning is communicated to the microcontroller via a switch that lies underneath the main cam, a mode switch or encoder switch, whatever. Again, not unlike a VCR. So I want to check the condition of that switch. It's easy to access that stuff, so I'm just going to pull the main cam off and get in there and get that switch out and see what there is to see there. And once that's wrapped up, I'll get these gears back into alignment before I slide the drawer back in. And then as far as the electronics go, there's other problems that could be going on as to why everything's out of whack. And that could be the sensors. There's some optical sensors involved in detecting whether there's a CD on board and in position. And also too, the rotation of the carousel and all that is dictated by another optical switch. So I don't know if we have anything going on there. But if it's anything that's too involved, that's going to get too costly or whatever the case, then I'm just going to have to call it. But I had to go in this far anyways to evaluate things, so I'm going to check the mode switch or encoder switch and go from there. So let me go ahead and get to it. All right, let me see if I can bring this into view. Yeah, the contacts in this switch here are pretty dirty. So let me go ahead and clean everything up. Let me just get some. Just going to use some anhydrous alcohol on a swab. Let me stay in view there. All right, throw a little alcohol in here as well. Just yeah, want to get it all nice and clean. Yeah, and these contacts are starting to shine up pretty good. In fact, when I'm done here, getting these all straightened out, so you can see on the swab, I think, how dirty that is in there. So let me go ahead and finish up off camera, and after I get this cleaned up, I'll show the end result. Okay, so you can probably see how sparkly clean I got the contacts, and they needed it. So there's a possibility that that could have been causing the problem, but either way it needed to be done, and I was in there evaluating the mechanism, so I wanted to go ahead and take care of that. So let me go ahead and move on. And I almost forgot to mention too, I also polished up the wiper contacts. I don't know if you can see those okay. But the wiper contacts on the switch as well, so those are polished up too. Okay, so I got the main cam all back together. Everything is in the proper position in terms of alignment. And before I drop the tray back in, I want to give some consideration to these sensors here. We have a sensor that determines whether or not there's a CD loaded, and then we have our sensor that reads the position of the carousel, okay, and communicates all that to the microcontroller. And on the bottom side, what I'm going to start by doing is checking the solder joints at the sensor positions there, sensor locations, and make sure we don't have any bad solder joints. And I also want to check the integrity of this ribbon cable, because if there's something severed, even internally, something damaged with this ribbon cable, and the sensor information is not transmitted to the microcontroller via the cable, then we can have problems as well. So I want to just make sure that the integrity of everything under here, the circuit board, I can see that the traces look okay and all that, but I just want to check these solder joints under a little bit of magnification, magnification because of my eyes, and then check the continuity of this ribbon cable. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, so I just carefully with my magnifier here just was checking these solder joints, and all these solder joints are absolutely solid and intact. I don't see any cracks or cratering or anything like that, any cold solder joints or whatever. Everything is absolutely solid and bomb-proof as far as that goes. So let me go ahead and I'm going to check the continuity of this ribbon cable. Okay, so I just want to check continuity real quick of this ribbon cable, make sure there's no internal breaks. And this is of course the ribbon cable that plugs into the sensor board here, that in turn sends signals to the microcontroller. I am tired. So anyways, let's go ahead and check this out here. We're looking good, okay? No high resistance connections whatsoever. Excellent. All right. Looking good. Okay. Okay, and that's what I want to see. Okay. All right, and just for good measure, let me go ahead and spray a little bit of contact cleaner into the connector here. Okay, good enough. Before I reinsert the ribbon cable. Get this ribbon cable back in there. Okay, that's slotted in nice. Just okay. All right, looking good. I'll get the clamps back on and go from there. Okay, so everything's just about back together. I just need to put the bottom cover, top cover on. I cleaned out everything a little bit more. I cleaned the laser lens while I had the opportunity, very carefully, and I've gone over that process before, so I'm not going to repeat it in this video because I just want to get this done and over with and get to testing things. So if everything went okay and I got everything back in alignment properly, and you know, the encoder switch and all that, because that thing was really dirty. If I got that all straightened out, and you know, again, I cleaned all of the connectors with some contact cleaner, the ribbon cables. You saw me test that one ribbon cable that carries the signal information, all the data back and forth between the the sensors and the microcontrollers. I also cleaned the sensors themselves. So if we don't have any bad sensors and whatnot, then I'm pretty confident that things are going to work, because these encoder switches and all that are a common problem. And also too, when things are just out of alignment, everything goes all you know, cattywampus and starts moving all over the place, and you know, the drawer opening and closing. All those are pretty common symptoms. So let's just hope it's nothing deeper than that. So let me go ahead and get this unit turned on. Okay. All right, let's see if the drawer opens on its own and starts going nuts. And so far so good. It's looking all right. So let me just load up a test CD and see if it loads that up. If it keep some dust out of here. So far so good. It's looking promising. So let me load up this test CD. Yeah, come on, just hold still. Okay, good. Looks like it's reading it. Yeah, all right, it's reading it. Now let me go ahead and get to where I need to go here. Oops.
1 kilohertz at minus 15 decibels below digital.
Right on.
0 VU reference operating level.
Okay, just paused it. And by the way, you can probably see down in the corner here, I just have this CD player outputting into this little test amp I use for signal tracing, because I have my system all tied up with some other equipment hooked up to it, so I don't want to start shuffling things around. No need to anyways. So anyways, yeah. So I won't camp out on that test tone, that's for sure. So let me actually load up a music CD and play it for a little bit. It's just going to be a test CD that I downloaded some of that YouTube music onto. Okay, so I won't get any copyright strikes or anything like that. So man, this is looking good. The carousel is doing what it's supposed to be doing, and the drawer is opening nicely. So yeah. Excellent. So let me load up this test CD and play some tunes. Okay, yeah, it read it just fine. So far it's looking good. Yeah, I didn't want to put on a rock track or anything, because you know, through that little speaker it's going to sound distorted, and with you know, electric guitars and distortion and all that. So I'm just going to let that play for a few, make sure it doesn't start skipping around. And also too, like I mentioned in the past when working on these CD players, sometimes some CDs will just kind of skip around, especially home recorded CDs versus commercially pressed CDs, different generations of CDs and all that stuff. Sometimes don't like, or shall I say, the CD player doesn't like those type of discs. It gets finicky, the different reflective surfaces, just the different era of CDs. So sometimes it's not uncommon to get some skipping around with certain CDs, especially if the skipping and all that is repeatable. When you try the same disc, the same tracks, sometimes, you know, when they're repeatable, then that kind of tells you something. That's why you got to test a whole bunch of CDs when you're really going through a unit and checking it to see if it's going to hold up okay. But from what I can see, this is looking really good. I like to test a unit right off the bat with lower quality CDs as far as, you know, home recorded again versus commercially pressed CDs. Not that all of those are of great quality, but I have some really high quality CDs for testing as well, plus stuff I listen to, my own music and all that are really good quality CDs. But usually if a CD player will play these type of discs without any problems, then they'll do just fine on good commercial quality CDs. Yeah, everything's looking good, guys. So I think I'm gonna call it here. This was a success, thankfully. And yeah, that's about it. So as I always say, guys, peace, love, music, and the vintage audio that brings it to your ears. Till next time, y'all take care.
This has been a Spinning Head production.